By now, most Ancestry users are aware of the Pro Tools toolset, and as of today or recently, they added a new feature called Shared Matches, and we're in July 2024. So the Shared Matches feature is the focus of this video today. I did a couple of videos already about the tree checker and other things within Pro Tools and the reports. Those videos are in the comments below. So today we'll just be looking at the new Shared Matches functionality. Now, most of us take DNA to see who we match with often. So the very purpose of doing DNA within Genealogy is to build out our family tree, to take our research and match DNA to our research to enable our tree to be more rich and contextful. So we can see who we match with. The whole point of shared matches is which matches do we have in common? Who do we share? And by knowing the matches that we share between each other, we can build our tree in a much more robust way. We can see where people are missing, we can look at missing generations, that kind of thing. So we have the shared matches within Ancestry. Now, we used to still have a feature of shared matches, but it's on an individual match basis. What we'll be looking at here is the new shared matching as part of the Pro Tool, brings it together, makes it much easier to read. Now, one thing to bear in mind about shared matches is if you're looking at your most recent common ancestor, you really need to go and look at the segments you have in common, because the segments pass through generations, and that way you can hone into your most common recent ancestor. With Ancestry, that's not possible. So there still is a chance when I'm looking at shared matches to have people who share matches but with a different relationship. So for instance, I may be related through my second great grandfather, and my match may be related through my second great grandmother, and that match will not be obvious that it's a different type. Only by doing segments through triangulation can we see that's possible. So let's take a look at this shared matches functionality. And there's not a lot to it, it's very intuitive, so we won't need to spend a lot of time on this, but I'm going to use a PowerPoint slides rather than going to Ancestry so I don't inadvertently show anybody's DNA. Obviously privacy is a key thing when we're doing these kind of videos. But this is my DNA matching, and here most people will be familiar with this, whether you've got Pro Tools or not. And we can see the parent, child, close family, and that's how I'm related and what kind of tree, and so it's very straightforward. So what I'm going to do is I'm interested in researching PP, and I want to find out what kind of shared matches PP and I have together. So if I click on PP, and then another familiar tree, familiar screen that we'd see, and this shows me how I'm related to PP. It gives a link tree if it's public, and it also looks at common ancestors. Now, this is very similar to ThruLines, so we'll be talking about ThruLines a little bit later on, but this is Ancestry's view of how the trees are coming together. It's not necessarily correct, it's just a suggestion. And here's the tree. Now we can see the shared matches with the Pro Tool. So anytime we see Pro Tool, we know it's part of the Pro Tools feature. And if we click on here, then I go to the Pro Tools screen for shared matches. Now individually before I could see shared matches, but now it brings them all together on one screen in a kind of matrix. So the shared matches down this left-hand column, my relationship with the shared matches in the middle column, and the person I'm investigating, their relationship with the shared matches on the right-hand column. So it's a very easy to look at, and it gives the relationships. And again, these are Ancestry's predicted relationships. They're not necessarily correct until you've done your own research. It gives you a kind of tree that's connected. So these two have trees, these people don't have trees, and this person has a locked tree. So very straightforward, very simple, not a lot to it. The key that makes this very useful is the shared matches, group, sort, and search. So if I do shared matches, I can filter these matches, the shared matches themselves, by unviewed, common ancestors, notes, and shared DNA, and a number of different ways. So this makes it very powerful when I'm doing my research. And equally, I can do a search here, and I can search by last name, username, surname, and even birth location, which again is very, very useful. You can see these little tags here. These are my grouping. Now I group by second great grandparents' surname. and you can see I've grouped certain people together, and I can also add people to groups here. So if I chose BC and KT, I can assign them to one of my family groups. So very, very useful to bring together shared matches. You could do this before. You probably would have needed a spreadsheet to do it before, so you could look at it. So it is a useful feature. As I said before, $10 a month, $120 a year. Very disappointing that Ancestry keeps layering on these costs and doubling our subscriptions. But it is a useful feature. What I'd suggest, again, is to use this feature for a month or two, finish your investigation. If you're not doing DNA research, switch it off, cancel it, and then put it back on whenever you want. So let's spend a lot of time. I mentioned ThruLines. Let's spend a little bit of time looking at how this will help ThruLines. So here I am at one of my ThruLines, and I've taken this offline. I'm actually using a screenshot because it makes it more difficult to keep the confidentiality, which is very important when we're dealing with DNA. We can see my ThruLines, and this is for my second great-grandfather, Charles William Beaumont. As we drill down into the various relationships, within ThruLines, I've got the tree relationship, as you can see, and I've got the DNA relationship. As you can see at the bottom here, we have a DNA relationship with a number of people, and there's a couple off the back end here. So maybe I'm specifically interested in AR and TP. Now from my ThruLines, I can go directly to the DNA profile of this person. So I don't have to necessarily go in through the DNA matches. I can go in through ThruLines, which is very useful. Now what I should be finding when I go into the shared matches is I should be seeing some kind of relationship between all these people on this ThruLine. So this is one of the ways I can start building the tree, looking at whether the tree within ThruLines, because this is based on other people's tree in addition to mine, whether this is correct. So when I click on AR or TP, for instance, I can see within AR, this is within the shared matches between me and AR, that it's bringing out AR as my fourth cousin, twice removed, and we see TP on the shared match here as a sister to TP. And on TP, I can see my relationship here and as a brother. So now we can see where shared matches will become very useful, because not only can I look at the shared matches within my DNA, I can look at the relationship within the tree of ThruLines to make sure I can bring these shared matches together to back up the research I've done. And again, like all these things, any DNA conclusions you make through a relationship is got to be based on work you do within traditional genealogy. DNA will never confirm a relationship, or in fact it's unlikely to fully confirm a relationship. Now, looking at this relationship, we can see within ThruLines, because ThruLines is based on a tree, we have second cousin first removed for both those relationships, AR and TP. That's based on where they are in the tree. Now within DNA, Ancestry is predicting one's a half third cousin and one's a fourth cousin or half third cousin once removed. And because the shared centimorgans are very low, in fact it's interesting that one is twice the other. So I need to do some work here to make sure that all the relationships are correct, because we're way out on the edge of my tree a little bit here when it comes to DNA. So I've got to make sure there's no missing generations. I need to make sure everybody's linked together correctly. So using shared matches will allow me to do that. So very, very powerful tool. Now I can take a big picture. So as I said earlier, this is part of the Pro Tools toolset, and it costs about $10 a month in the US here. So it's subscription based, which is a great shame. Unfortunately, this should be part of their DNA offering. It makes it much more powerful. You can still look at your shared matches by relationship, but not in this overview field. So as Pro Tools are rolled out, as you see more and more features, I'll try and make more and more videos about this. My recommendation is not to leave Pro Tools switched on all the time. You're adding $120 here in the US to your subscription, which could quite easily double the amount of money you're paying to Ancestry. So I hope you found this video useful. I hope you find the new shared matches feature useful. I'd love to hear your experiences in the comments. And if you like this video, please like it, and I'd love it if you subscribe to my channel and let me know if there's any videos you'd like me to make. And otherwise, have great research, enjoy your genealogy, and I'll speak to you all soon.